long time, Kimball. Not long enough. I came to check on your condition. As soon as you're well enough, you'll be extradited to Indiana. I'm taking you back to Stafford myself. You're going to strap me on the fender of your car?
The Fugitive. A QM production. Starring David Jansen as Dr. Richard Kimball, an innocent victim of blind justice, falsely convicted for the murder of his wife. Reprieved by fate when a train wreck freed him en route to the death house. Freed him to hide in lonely desperation, to change his identity, to toil at many jobs. Freed him to search for a one-armed man he saw leave the scene of the crime. Freed him to run before the relentless pursuit of the police lieutenant obsessed with his capture.
The guest stars in tonight's story, Telly Savalas, Carol Rossett, Norman Fell, also starring Barry Morse as Lieutenant Philip Gerard. Tonight's episode, May God Have Mercy, brought to you by
A man on the run assumes many identities, each one reflecting in some way the life he has left behind. Thus, Dr. Richard Kimball, now known as Harry Reynolds, works as an orderly in a Michigan hospital. Once a respected pediatrician, he finds a hint of security in the familiar hospital routine. For no man, not even a convicted murderer, can completely abandon his past. Nor can his past abandon him.
Reynolds, where's Toby? Playing with the girls in X-ray again.
I haven't seen him.
Sent him down to the lab a good half hour ago. Find him, will you? I need the lab reports on Leonetti.
Who?
Leonetti in 307. Well, go on. It's getting late.
Well, I get up at midnight. Why don't you meet me in the parking lot and we'll... Yeah? The nurse would like the lab reports.
Oh. Hey, anything will you cover for me, Pops? Tell her the doctor couldn't operate without me, huh?
That's all, huh? 10 lousy months.
Maybe a year. Believe me, Victor, if there was anything.
I'm a healthy man, Doctor. Look at me. I'm strong like a bull. Those tests could be wrong, you know. You could be wrong, too.
Frequently. But not this time.
You doctors. All so smart. What right have you got to sentence a man to death, huh? And what am I supposed to do? Lay down and die? Just because you said so?
You insisted on knowing the truth, Victor.
Listen. Do me a favor, will you? And don't tell my wife about this.
She knows we've been running tests.
I told her it was for an ulcer.
I think she should know.
What for? She gonna make me better?
Victor, you're not being fair to yourself. You're going to need Anne's help.
Listen, Doctor. 4 years ago, it was our little daughter, Jeannie. She needed that big heart operation, you know? And now this business with me. Well, I just don't want Ann to know anything's gonna happen to me.
All right, Victor. I won't say anything until I have to. You can tell Anne you have no ulcers. She can take you home tonight.
Nice work, Fink. Tell her old horseface I was goofing off an X-ray.
Well, I don't care what the inspector said. The zoning commission approved every house on that tract. All right, leave it on my desk and I'll take care of it tonight. Is that you out there, Ann?
Hello, darling. Congratulations. Now, Elsie. Aren't you pleased?
Sure. Sure, I'm pleased. Oh, the building inspector's given us a few problems. I'm going to go down to the office tonight.
Oh, well, can't that wait till tomorrow?
Tomorrow. How many tomorrows does a guy have? No, I better take care of it now.
Darling, are you sure it's just the building inspectors that's bothering you?
I wasted 2 days here.
Victor, I saw him too.
Who?
Dr. Kimball.
What are you talking about?
Haven't you seen him?
You mean you saw him here in this hospital?
Oh, well, darling, now that must have been my imagination.
Show me where he is.
Victor, wait.
Like a buzzard, that Kimball, a vulture. Every time somebody dies, poof, there's Kimball.
Victor, stop it, please.
First Jeannie, and then his wife, and now... You going home, Ann? I'll take a cab when I get finished at the office.
Promise me you won't call the police, please, Victor.
He's a murderer, isn't he?
You know better than that. You were at the trial. You heard him testify. Darling, back in Stafford, everyone who really knew him felt he was innocent.
His wife knew him, and she's dead. And Jeannie knew him, and she's dead too. And why? Because he was out of town, on vacation, instead of being there with her. Operator, I want the police.
Dr. Kimball.
If you want a doctor...
Now, don't play games. You don't have the time. Anne Leonetti, do you remember?
You're a long way from home.
Yes, well, my husband and I left Stafford about a year ago. Victor's developing some real estate here. He knows you're here, Doctor. And I'm sure he's called the police by now. You'd better hurry.
He still blames me for Jeannie's death.
Yes.
And you don't?
I never did.
Thank you.
Go out emergency or whatever, and I'll drive around.
Doctor?
Yeah, that's our boy, all right. He calls himself Harry Reynolds, spelled F-I-N-K. I had him figured out right from the start.
Not a sign of him. He was here in the ward just a few minutes ago.
Call headquarters, Joe. Tell them to drop a net over this area.
Victor's overcoat's in the back seat. You'd better wear it to hide those whites.
All right. You let me off at the next signal.
Bus depot's just a few blocks from here.
Look, Hen, they can hold you for 8
If I'd kept quiet, you wouldn't be in this mess. Victor never would have seen you. You know why he hates you? I mean, the real reason.
Yes. He blames me for Jeannie's death.
No. Nobody could have saved her. I know that. And Victor knows that, too. But once he stops blaming you for Jeannie's death, he'll have to blame himself.
And I want to thank you for this.
Don't thank me, Doctor. Forgive me. And my husband, too.
When Jeannie had that fatal attack, I was in New York. I went there to see George Fogarty. He's one of the leading cardiac specialists.
Not Jeannie?
He was the only man I knew that could save her. I had persuaded him to come to Stafford, but by that time...
Did that for us. Why didn't you tell us? We had no idea.
Jeannie was gone. All the good intentions in the world. Stay out of this. Get out.
out of here. Don't get mixed up.
There he is.
Kimbo! Hold it, Kimbo! We'll shoot!
What's the matter?
Congratulations. Police just shot Kimball.
They shot him.
Did you finally get what you wanted, Victor?
All of a sudden, everything's my fault, huh? The man's a killer, so they shot him. He got everything he deserves.
Now, how would you know what he deserves? Who are you to pass judgment on him? You who've created nothing but overpriced, undersized houses, instant slums, suddenly your moral sense is
Wait a
so
minute,
outraged.
Dan. They gave us a good living, those houses. And our life could have been so perfect.
Still can be perfect, Victor. You just let yourself forget. Could have had more children. We still can.
We'd still have our little Jeannie if your friend Kimball would.
Stop it, Victor! He told us she needed open heart surgery. He recommended one surgeon after another. But you didn't trust his judgment, and that's why she died, Vic!
Oh, Ann, don't.
The man you hated so much, Victor, was in New York when Jeannie had her last attack. Did you know that? He went there with his own money, on his own time, to get a heart specialist for our daughter. The best man in the country. One surgeon that even you would have to accept.
Who told you?
He did.
What'd you expect? He'd use any excuse.
Operator? I'd like to place a call to New York City. Dr. George Fogarty. No, I'm, sorry, you'll have to look up the number. Thank you.
Lieutenant, toss a few crumbs to the reporters.
He's the lieutenant, boy. Settle down.
Sure, Kimball.
Now, this is a hospital, not a press club. First of all, his condition.
The doctor says the bullet tore some tendons in his shoulder, severed some blood vessels. He's lost a lot of blood, and he's still in shock. Right now, we're just trying to keep him alive. He faces a death sentence in Indiana, which is a lot tougher to beat than a gunshot wound. I've been in touch with the Indiana police. If Kimball survives, we'll arrange to have him extradited. Now, we're running a check on his fingerprints for final identification.
Yes, this is Lieutenant Gerard. Now, just a minute. We've had false alarms before. Are they sure it's Kimball? I'm not about to go running off to Michigan on some wild... All right. Let me know as soon as I have the final word on his ID.
They've actually got him in custody?
I have actually got somebody in custody. I should make sure of who before they blast me out of bed. Call the airport, will you, dear? Get me a reservation on the earliest plane to Selby.
How do you feel this morning?
I don't think I'm ready for the Olympics, but I'll make it.
Welcome back, killer. You think you can crawl through those bars? Bars on the windows, bars on the doors. A big hunk of fuzz with a gun on his hip out there? Cool it, man. You're here for keeps.
I hope you're not.
Hey, I'm your favorite ward boy. I got lonesome down there, so I asked for this job. This little nurse, she needs my kind of company. You know what I mean?
What happened to your little friend in X-ray?
Gloria? Yeah, she's been asking about you since she heard you're a wife killer. Ain't that a kick?
Well, tell her not to be too impatient. Yeah, they'll be taking me down to X-ray pretty soon.
Oh, sorry. No X-rays ordered.
Toby, take care of the dirty laundry.
How do you like that? She loves me.
Someone taking care of you?
You're the man in charge?
I'm Lieutenant Sormay.
Could I talk to you, please?
Well, I'm kind of busy. Maybe one of these other
No, please,
officers.
it's important. I've been walking the streets all night thinking about it.
Okay, right in here. Well, what's on your mind?
I want to confess to a crime. Murder.
Ben, get a stenographer and a tape recorder and bring him in here. You're a murderer, huh?
Who's your victim? Dr. Kimball's wife. You didn't kill her. I did.
Fugitive will continue following station identification.
Did you send a car to the airport to pick up Lieutenant Gerard? Flight 12. Right. Fine. Yeah. Oh. Send it right in.
Lieutenant, Mrs. Leonetti.
Sit down, Miss Leonetti.
I'd like to see my husband, please.
Sorry, he refuses to see anyone.
Yes, but I'm his wife. I have a right to see him.
Well, he has his rights, too. If he doesn't want to see anybody.
That confession that he made, you don't believe that, do you?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Afraid I do.
That's nonsense. He couldn't possibly have killed Helen Kimball.
Why not?
Oh, well, I was with him at home that night.
Was anyone with you? Did anyone see you together?
No, but
Mrs. Leonetti, I examined your husband's story every way I know. He's familiar with every detail of that killing. Now, the only one who could possibly tell us more would be the victim herself. Sir, Mac. Oh, fine. I'll be right out. Lieutenant Gerard? I'm sorry, Mac.
Well, how do you do, Lieutenant?
Come in.
Thank you. Now tell me, are you certain this man you're holding is Kimball?
Yes, it's Kimball. I'm afraid I have a little surprise for you.
Toby, please get the lunch trays ready. I'm going to take the CPRs. Your shoulder bothering you? Where exactly does it hurt you?
The anterior portion of the clavicle.
You were a doctor, weren't you?
My daughter was dead, and Kimball was That's all I could think about all the way over to the Kimball's house. I went around to the back, and I could hear them arguing. Kimball and his wife. Well, after a while, the doctor came out and he drove away. He was still mad, I could tell.
How did you see him? Was the porch light on?
There's no porch in that house.
All right. Go on.
Well, I saw Helen was alone in there.
Helen?
Mrs. Kimball.
You knew her that well?
Yeah, we used to play bridge with him. And I'm a contractor. I'm the one who built their house. Well, anyway, I knew Helen was in there. And I started to think, why murder Kimball? Death is no punishment. The real punishment is grief. And if Helen were murdered, he'd really have something to grieve about. Anyway, I guess I was pretty upset.
How'd you get into the house?
The back door.
It was locked.
Yeah, well, I knocked on the door a few times. Helen heard me. Let me in.
How was she dressed?
She had on what do you call it, a cocktail dress.
She was wearing a house coat.
A cocktail dress. Light in color and sort of bluish gray.
Try again, Leonetti.
Bluish gray. Dress had a cloth belt. And I used that belt to strangle her.
All right. So you strangled her, left her on the sofa.
No. She was on the floor.
With the belt still around her neck?
I tossed it aside on the floor someplace, and I got out of there.
I know, the back door was left open.
I used the front door. I might have left it open, though.
Where'd you go from there?
I started across the front lawn and... Oh, yeah. There was a man standing there.
Man?
Yeah. I guess he heard the noise in the house and stopped to take a look. Anyway, he saw me and he took off like a jackrabbit.
This, man, was he a stranger? Would you know him if you saw him again?
I don't know. What I remember about him was his empty sleeve. Coat sleeve. It looked to me like he had one arm.
Quite a bit of swelling. The wound looks clean, though. Must be some bone fragments in there after all. Any x-rays taken last night?
No.
Better get him downstairs for some pictures. We'll locate those bone chips and remove them, Kimball. Nothing to be concerned about. Thank you, Doctor.
You're pretty busy next week, but I'll try to get you down there as soon as possible. There, that's your doctor.
Are you always this considerate of criminals?
Funny. I never thought of you as one.
Taken me a long time, Kimball.
Not long enough.
I came to check on your condition. As soon as you're well enough, you will be extradited to Indiana. I'm taking you back to Stafford myself.
You're going to strap me on the fender of your car?
In time, I'd like to ask you some questions. About Victor Leonetti. How well do you know him?
His child was my patient.
He blames you for her death.
Have I been convicted of that one, too?
In a way. Leonetti is the noble citizen who turned you in. A man who'd do a thing like that would be capable of anything. Even murder. What do you think? Is he capable of murder?
I am in no mood for a psychiatric.
He claims he is. In fact, he claims he murdered your wife.
Leonetti killed Helen.
Oh, his confession's a work of art. Must have done a lot of research. Even found room for your one-armed man.
Why would he kill Helen?
His way of punishing you. Of course, his wife claims his story is false, but she can't explain why he told it.
What's his reason?
Delayed conscience. Of course, he may be one of those cranks who dabbles in self-destruction. Either way, his confession may clear you. How does that strike your conscience?
What am I supposed to do? Insist that I'm the guilty one?
You believe he's a murderer. Well, neither do I.
You're going to get that X-ray after all.
Doctor?
Doctor, take that.
How are you feeling?
All right. Gerard arranged to pass for you.
My request?
Well, I know what he wants. He wants me to announce to the world that Victor is innocent and that I'm the murderer. Is that what you want to?
I want to help my husband.
Yesterday you wanted to help me.
But only because I was trying to keep my husband from making a terrible mistake. I'm still trying.
You're not sure he's innocent?
I know he didn't kill Helen.
Well, neither did I, and you can't expect me to...
I don't expect anything, Doctor. But I'll be honest with you. If I could force you to say that you were guilty, I think I'd do it. If I could bribe or threaten or frighten you, I'd do it. I cannot let my husband throw his life away.
Life doesn't seem to mean much to him.
Yes, well, maybe I'm partly responsible for that.
And don't you know why he's in this hospital?
Well, he thought he had some ulcers. They were running some tests.
Ulcers, who told you that?
Well, Victor did. The tests were negative.
Well, then you haven't spoken to Dr. Becker.
Well, no, why should I? What difference would that make?
Sorry to break in on you, but we have to get you down to X-ray, Dr. Kimball.
Yes, could we wait?
Yeah, just one
I'm
moment.
sorry, we don't have any time. Toby, will you help me, please?
Anne, see Dr. Becker. Tell him you want the truth.
Come on, Doc. It's traveling time. Hold it, Mac. We're coming through.
Sort of bluish-gray. Try again, Leonetti. Bluish-gray. Oh, I can't buy it. I just can't buy it.
Can't or won't? You know, we can't hold Leonetti much longer unless we file charges.
Kimball's been tried and convicted. In the eyes of the law, he's the guilty man.
The eyes of the law. Leonetti just poked a finger in the clear blue eyes of the law.
All yours, Toby. Will you tell him the doctor wants the place developed and dried right away?
You bet. I'll wait for him.
Will you help him back, please?
So near and yet so far. Huh, killer?
On your feet. Come on. Onto the table. Toby, I left some film in there rinsing. Would you take it out, please?
Right.
Hey, congratulations.
What?
You and Toby, you told me.
What are you talking about?
Oh, never mind.
Thank you, Toby. I have a right to know the truth. Dr. Becker was on there.
Truths. It's great stuff, isn't it? Knowing about the truth.
Now listen to me.
Like picking up a rock and seeing everything you don't want to see. Jeannie dying by inches. Kimball dying in the electric chair. And Big Shot Victor Leonetti, never sick a day in his life, and dying because he deserves to die. You said it yourself. Jeannie died because of me? Well, you're right, she did. And Kimball in custody because of me.
Is that why you made the false confession? To punish yourself?
Well, what do you mean, false confession?
To undo what you did to Dr. Kimball.
That's hero stuff, and I'm no hero.
You think that's heroic? A man who do something like that is only selfish. You understand, Victor? You've got an advantage that hardly anyone else gets.
Advantage. 10 months to live and you call that an advantage?
I call that a blessing. A gift. You know how many people have less time than you have, and they are not lucky enough to know it. But you know. And you know that you cannot waste any time. You have to make every single minute count. And that's 10 months. And those 10 months are our lifetime. Our happiness. We don't have anything left. Please, Victor. Please don't throw it away.
Tell that lieutenant that I want to see him. You tell him to hurry up because my time is valuable.
The doc wants him developed right away, Del. We'll wait for him.
I need some help, Toby.
Stay put, killer.
What are you even saying about me?
What?
I'll talk to you later after you take him back to his room.
probably an Eddie. And Kibble.
We have to take one who told me.
Don't scream. Don't scream.
In here. Look what he did! They should be finished with the x-rays by now. Emily, go!
There's a prisoner escaped. Man with an injured shoulder, dressed in hospital whites.
I ain't seen him. I sure hope I don't.
Lieutenant, I'd like to thank you.
Thank me.
Yes, for letting me see Dr. Kimball. It changed a lot of things for us.
Listen, I want to make sure that Kimball gets a good lawyer. We'll pay all their legal expenses, all of them. Yes, well, I'll tell him. When I find him.
The death sentence comes in many forms, affecting each man in a different way. For some, it means an end to pain. For others, it becomes a challenge to live. For Richard Kimball, the challenge is repeated with every new turn of the road.
Look, there's a bus. If there's any talking, let me do it. You just relax.
check your passengers.
Fugitive. A QM production. Starring David Jansen as Dr. Richard Kimball, an innocent victim of blind justice, falsely convicted for the murder of his wife. Reprieved by fate when a train wreck freed him en route to the death house. Freed him to hide in lonely desperation, to change his identity, to toil at many jobs. Freed him to search for a one-armed man he saw leave the scene of the crime. Freed him to run before the relentless pursuit of the police lieutenant obsessed with his capture.
The guest stars in tonight's story, Norma Crane, Edward Asner, John Milford. Tonight's episode, Masquerade.
If you are a fugitive, you travel a lot, most often by hitching a ride with a stranger. And always you ask yourself, who is he? What kind of man hides behind that face?
Bet you're gonna drop me in town.
Sure will. You still want to wait around?
Order me a cup of coffee, will you?
Yes, sir.
A couple cups of coffee and a hamburger, please.
Lorraine, coffee, please. Make it 2.
Your coffee, sir?
Hotel.
Room 108, please.
Who is this calling?
It's official business.
There must be some mistake. I'm sorry. Number 108 is vacant.
Forget your change.
Hey, mister. We got something? I think you'll need this.
Thanks.
Well, I know you from someplace?
I don't think so.
Sure I do. Recognized you the minute we walked in, isn't that right, Willie? That's right, Bo.
No, I've never been here before.
Well, maybe it's your picture then. Is that it, Bo?
No, picture, I haven't done anything. You got me mixed up with someone else.
That'll be easy enough to find out. Shall we take a ride? Yeah, we'll play a little game down at the office. Who's who? See if old Bo's right or not.
Look, I told you got me mixed up with someone else.
You got something there to prove who you are? You take it out.
Driver's license.
You Leonard Hull? Whoo-wee! Well, what do you know? As easy as that.
Well, I didn't think that.
You didn't think what, Mr. Hull? You didn't think we'd know who you were? Maybe not by sight, but they sent us a pretty good rundown on you.
They sent you a rundown.
Yeah, they wired us last night. You might be heading this way. Nobody figured you'd show up so soon. Well, we better not be standing out here talking. Willie, I'll ride with Mr. Hull in his car. You follow us back. I think you better call in, too. Okay, Bo. Shall we go, Mr. Hull?
Where are you taking me?
Don't worry, Mr. Hull. We're in a tight little department in Clay City. You're going to be perfectly safe with us. sheriff yet? Yeah, he's coming back. He says to keep him in his office. And nobody's to know anything, especially the papers. Have a seat, Mr. Hall. Mr. Hall, you didn't think that we'd be expecting you to show up here? Looking for your wife?
I guess I didn't.
You knew we had men watching her around the clock, guarding for any move Blackburn might make. How'd you plan to see without getting caught?
I don't know.
Well, it's not a wasted trip anyway. Motel's just down the road. When the sheriff gets back, notifies Washington, then we'll take you right on down to see her.
This report on the car you rented just came in from Washington. They say someone else was checking on it as early as last night.
Blackburn?
Washington is positive that he now knows that you're the secret witness, Mr. Hall. And I don't have to tell you, this is his state. He's got men everywhere.
Thanks for the warning.
It's not as simple as that, and you know it. You're in my protective custody now. What happened to McAdams is not going to happen to you, not if I can help it.
Sheriff, what if I don't want your protective custody? No, I haven't done anything wrong. You can't hold me against my will.
I don't know what kind of a deal you made in return for your testimony, but I do know that you and the rest of Buddy Blackburn's executives face that indictment along with him. I could hold you just for leaving Washington. Better get me Washington now. When are you going to show some sense and trust us, Hull? Don't you realize we're trying to save your life?
Sheriff, I don't think I should see her, you know.
Why not?
I don't want to get her involved in all this.
She's already in it. You've got 4, maybe 5 hours before they get here from Washington to take you back. She's just a few minutes down the road.
But you said that Blackburn must know by now. Wouldn't it be safer?
Safer? You come all this way, then you tell me you don't want to see her? I don't get you, Hull.
And I told you I'm afraid of what he might do.
And I told you you're both in my protective custody. Let me worry about Blackburn. Get in.
Nothing, sir.
Stay back there.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, we're coming in.
Who is it?
Sheriff Mayhew, Mrs. Hull. Got somebody here to see you.
Leonard?
Come see for yourself.
I'll be right out. Are you just going to stand there gawking?
I thought you might be kind of pleased to see your husband again.
Why? Because he informed to save his own neck without caring about what happened to me.
All right. I'll leave you two alone. If you want anything, just signal a man out front. Yeah? It's me, Bo. I'll be back when they come for you in a couple of hours.
Try anything and I'll shoot. If that doesn't stop you, then this will when it goes off. Either way, you're a dead man.
I'd like to explain.
Not another step. I mean it.
You can put that down if you'll just let me tell you what happened.
No. I'll tell you. I knew Buddy would send someone.
You think Blackburn sent me?
I thought I would be safe until I read about McAdams. Then I knew it was no use.
Mrs. Hall, I didn't know anything about this until I made the mistake of borrowing your husband's identification.
And you've already gotten to Leonard?
Well, not in the way you think. I met him on the road by accident. I was hitchhiking. His car was broken down. He gave me a ride after I fixed the fan belt.
Leonard never had a car. They flew him to Washington.
Then he rented one. The sheriff said that Blackburn found out about it even before the police did.
He was headed here to see me.
He stopped at a restaurant outside of town. He made a phone call. I guess it was to contact you.
I just don't get it. I don't know why anybody in his right mind would want Leonard's identification.
I had to prove I was somebody. Anybody. Otherwise, the police would have taken me in for questioning. The wallet was in your husband's jacket. About the same height, same color. I had no idea it was going to be somebody special.
And they bought that? You don't even look like it. But they haven't put a picture of him out yet, have they? And they can't... Why? Why did you go along with all this?
Well, the police would have found out who I really was.
And who's that?
They want me for something that happened a while back, something I didn't do.
Do you really expect me to believe that?
It's true. I guess the rest is up to you.
I could call them and tell them that you're not Leonard.
If you really thought I was somebody sent by Blackburn, why didn't you tell them when I walked in?
Because whoever you are, I want to make a deal with you.
Hands up. Big back. Okay, now, who are you?
We haven't got much time. 2 men will be arriving soon to pick up Leonard Hull. One look at me.
Then take my offer.
Look, Mrs. Hull, I told you.
All right. All right, but you're passing up $50,000 in cash, undeclared income. Money that Buddy slipped Leonard for keeping a neat set of books, and I've got the key to the safety deposit box.
Look, Mrs. Hull, I was not sent here.
All you have to do is to tell Buddy that it's done. That I'm dead and buried somewhere where nobody will ever find me.
Mrs. Hull.
I swear to you, once we're out of here, I'll disappear. Like I was never born.
Well, aren't you safe here?
Safe? You marched in here, didn't you?
Well, that was a fluke. It couldn't have been planned.
They got McAdams. Was that a fluke, too? No. Oh, no. Buddy puts out an order, and it gets done.
Well, not by me. But I'd have to be crazy, wouldn't I, have to walk in here if I was hired to get you? And one look at me, you'd yell fake, that'd be it.
All right. All right, not by you. But maybe somebody else. And then if he didn't make good, Buddy will send another. And another. My only chance is getting out of here. I've got to get lost out there. Lost for good.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Hull. I can't help it.
You'll help me.
He's here.
Over there.
This all he had on him?
That's it. No ID, nothing in the way of weapons.
All right. What's your name?
You like this cat and mouse?
No more than you do. Want to tell us about it?
You really don't know.
We've got a pretty good idea of what you were doing there.
I was looking for a room.
Looking for a room in back of the building?
Yeah, I lost my way. Look, I haven't done anything wrong. You either charge me or let me go.
Let's start over. What's your name?
Doe. John Doe.
Address? What are you doing in town? Where you from?
But we got that cleared up.
Self-preservation. It's a powerful instinct. Turn around. All right, turn around. I want to get dressed.
All right.
Relax, have yourself a drink.
No, thanks.
Will you fix me one, please? Scotch?
Sure. Why is Blackburn after you? Because he knows your husband started to talk?
Leonard doesn't care about what happens to me. But he knows that. But Buddy's afraid now. For the first time in his life. And he's plenty scared. He thinks that Leonard's told me something. And he's not taking any chances. Thank you. You can turn around now.
You know, running away has never solved anything. I say we could escape. Put you right out in the open, make it a lot easier for Blackburn.
And if I stay, I'm a sitting duck. No, I've got to get out while I can. Well, there's nothing wrong with trying to save your own life.
No. How about Johnson?
You don't catch on fast, do you? Leonard and I, we were going to split up a long time ago.
Well, why didn't you?
Buddy didn't approve. One big, happy corporate family, and nobody leaves.
He ran your private lives that closely.
Buddy Blackburn is a way of life. It became Leonard's by choice, and mine by Leonard's. It's a rotten way to live. That's why you're going to help me change it.
I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Open up, please.
Mrs. Hull.
Mrs. Hull what?
What is it, Mrs. Hull?
We'd like the afternoon papers, please.
You know, it's going to be easy enough for us to find out who you are, just as soon as we get your prints.
We've wasted enough time already.
Now, hold on.
Want to tell us now? Save us all a lot of trouble? Just a question of time. You have a lot to spare. We have, too.
All right. May come as some surprise to you, but the name is Hull. Leonard Hull. You've probably heard of me.
Like the devil you are. You want to play games? We've got some ourselves. Get his prints and throw him in a cell.
Wait a minute. You asked me, and I told you. Now, the guy you're holding, the one that flashed my wallet, he's just some hitchhiker I picked up. Hitchhiker? Yeah, it was my coat you took out to him from the restaurant. You still got him locked up.
Yes. No.
Get it. Where is he?
Hey, Sheriff, I didn't expect to see you back so soon. Got someone anxious to see our guests. Open up. Sure.
It's me, Ed.
Open it. Where's Sorensen?
He came in to stay with him when I went for the paper. That's procedure. When one of us leaves his post, the other one comes in.
She had a gun. He grabbed me. I couldn't do a thing.
Jenkins, Get on the radio. Get out all cars available. Block the highway east and west, routes 4A and 33. Stop and search all buses going in or out.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry about this, Mr. Hull.
I'll bet you are. Police protection. Putting a stranger in with my wife, and now they're both gone. Right under your noses.
Protective custody is not jail, especially when you fight not to be protected.
I'm not going back to Washington. Not to testify. Not after this.
I'll have them back in an hour, before dark. Have to before dark.
That's right. Okay, we're coming in now. Roger.
There's a bus.
If there's any talking, let me do it. You just relax. I want to check your passengers. Come on, Sheriff, unblock the road. We've got a schedule. All right, you can go.
A little. Hey, you've got a real professional touch. How'd you learn it?
The medic, Mr. Hull. It's none of my business. But if you had stayed in Washington, none of this would have happened.
You're right. It's none of your business. It's not your fault. Guess I'm just worried about my wife.
Chances are she's okay. She never liked the protective custody thing. Griped about it to my men. Can't blame her for getting scared and taking off. Like I said, she's probably okay.
get off?
You're not going to leave me alone.
You can't keep running with that arm. You just stay in the truck. You'll be safe here. When it stops, get to a phone and call the police. Goodbye. I can't help you anymore, Mrs. Hill. I'm going to have to go to the police.
Don't you understand? I can't go back. I won't.
Why can't you? What are you really afraid of?
I told you. I just want to get out of this whole mess. I want to start my life all over again.
Because of your husband? Because you both want a divorce and Blackburn wouldn't let you?
Yes, I told you that. I told you.
If that were true, the last place in the world your husband would want to run to.
You don't understand. He's just running home to Mama. He's weak. Leonard would have never gotten any place, done anything without me.
By going to work for Betty Blackburn in the first place?
I just wanted him to be more aggressive. I didn't pick Blackburn. I just urged him to grab a decent opportunity. He let Buddy walk all over him. Over him and me.
You wanted revenge. You wanted your husband to do it for you. And now you hate him because he didn't give you that.
What are you going to do?
Take a look. Make it to that field office up there?
I don't know anything more about it than that. When that man who tried to kill me is better. Why don't you ask him?
She should be right in here, Mr. Hull.
Okay, say it. I put you in a spot offering to testify.
You just said it.
Well, what else do you want me to say? Then I'm sorry? Forget it. No, maybe I am. But not for you.
At least you're honest about it.
I came after you because I wanted to hide. Just to get away, to run, forget Buddy. I just couldn't leave it.
I'm a bigger coward. I was going to leave it.
Well, now I guess you can.
What about you?
I decided that I found you.
Named Blackburn, justice will be done. But for Richard Kimball, that day has not yet come. And so he moves on, searching.
Black Belt Theater will be shown at 2 a.m. this week. Bruce Lee tangles with the most notorious figure in the underworld tomorrow night. See martial arts action at its best on Black Belt Theater at 2 a.m. tomorrow night on KTZZ TV 22.
What you did for Claire. What are you going to do? I'm going to leave you here quietly with Bob. Hey, Bob.
You're one of them they're looking for, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Brady says you're a killer.
Well, there was a killing. I was convicted. I couldn't prove my innocence, and I still can.
There's a station wagon down in the garage. He wants me to take you downtown with him.
The Fugitive. A QM production. Starring David Jansen as Dr. Richard Kimball, an innocent victim of blind justice, falsely convicted for the murder of his wife. Reprieved by fate when a train wreck freed him en route to the death house. Freed him to hide in lonely desperation, to change his identity, to toil at many jobs. Freed him to search for a one-armed man he saw leave the scene of the crime. Freed him to run before the relentless pursuit of the police lieutenant obsessed with his capture.
The guest stars in tonight's story, Ed Begley, Richard Anderson, Diana Vanderbliss. Tonight's episode, Runner.
No job for Richard Kimball is anything more than a means to the end. Survival. The dignity of his profession is a memory and a hope. He can never know what unexpected shift of fate will send him running again. Perhaps in pursuit of the one-armed man, perhaps in flight for his life.
Maintenance?
Now, Mr. Burns, this is Maud Keller, number 9. He said you'd come up and fix that faucet of mine when you got a chance.
Mrs. Keller, I'm off in 10 minutes. I'll catch a bus for Cleveland this evening.
Now, Mr. Burns, those buses run every half hour. I happen to know. Now, I simply will not put up with this drip, drip, drip another night.
All right. I'll try and fix it. Be right up.
And now we return to the second half of What's My Name?
Our second category today is lawbreakers. Ready? Ready? All right. What's my name? Now, if you look at our screen, we have some photographic clues for you. Ready? I lived in this ordinary town. I worked in this ordinary building. I was brought to trial in this ordinary courthouse for the crime of murder. I was accused and convicted of killing my wife. Now, can you tell me, what's my name? Well, I'll give you one final clue. I am now at large, a fugitive. And either of you contestants, and our viewers too, as far as that's concerned, can do a great public service by helping to bring me to justice.
Give me the police, quick.
Your name and address, please. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right, well. Yes, ma'am.
Luke, I'm going to call today. If anything turns up, I'll be at home, huh?
Just a minute, please. A woman thinks the janitor in our apartment building is a Dr. Richard Kimball. Murder warrant, a fugitive. Ring any bell?
Where is this?
Who is it?
It's me, Mrs. Keller, Tom Burns. The faucet you wanted fixed, where is it?
I changed my mind. It stopped.
You mean it stopped dripping?
Yes, I changed my mind.
Mrs. Keller, what is the matter?
Nothing the matter with me. Just keep away from me, please.
No, please, what is the matter?
Just keep away from me, that's all. Just keep away or I'll scream. I'll scream my lungs out. Ah!
Number 22 to headquarters. Come in, please. Over.
Go ahead, Car 22.
We're at the Walnut Street address, Sergeant. The woman is very emotional. The suspect is still at large. I have a witness here who can assist with identification. Request instructions. Over.
Roger, 22. Units 9 and D5 are on the way. Is the suspect in the building?
I don't think so, Sergeant.
Unit 22, stand by for assistance. Units 9 and D5, code 6. Call the county, call the state, request cooperation. Order all off-duty men to report at once. Try to seal off the area first and then the town. Cover the bus depot, the train depot, and the taxi service. Take this over to the duplicator, run off some copies. Take one over to Walnut Street for identification. Now, call the local radio station. Take a copy of Kimball's picture over to the TV station. Ask the TV people if they'll run his mug on the air every chance that they get. Got all that, Luke? Yes, sir. You going over to Walnut Street? Oh, it's 5 o'clock. We'll get some dinner. Dinner? Now? Just over at the Burger House. I always work better when my stomach's full.
Is that you?
No, ma'am.
Oh, forgive me. I thought you were someone else. I need a little help. Would you mind?
I mean to startle you. I guess I came in the wrong way.
I'm Claire Whitaker. Do I know you?
Oh, I don't think so.
What's your name?
Phil. Meade. Phil Meade.
Claire? Where are you?
Here I am, Dan.
All right, Claire. Just walk toward my voice.
Oh, it's all right, Dan. There's someone here to help me.
Who's there?
I am, sir.
This is Mr. Meade. Or is it Dr. Meade?
No.
You're not a student. Your voice is too mature. So you must be from the Good Neighbor Society.
Mr. Meade?
Yes, sir.
I want you to let her do most of it by herself. Don't hang on to her. Just stay with her. Be sure she doesn't fall.
Oh, Dan, for heaven's sake, stop directing traffic.
You have to learn, Claire. We all did.
Yes, the continued cooperation of the public and feels confident that the fugitive will be in custody by nightfall.
You're not helping her, are you, Meade?
No, sir. Just walking along.
lot better off, by George, once she learns to move around by herself. An idle person's going to waste away, it seems to me. So I take it on myself to try and keep folks busy here. Come on, I'll show you.
Oh, who's this?
Mrs. Ferguson? Mr. Meade? Where are you?
Right here, Mr. Brady.
Mr. Meade. That's Mrs. Ferguson. Regardless of the noise I make, it's really Mr. and Mrs. Ferguson who run the place. Mr. Meade is down from Cleveland.
Oh, Good Neighbor Society. You alone?
Phil Meade. We're going to call him Phil.
Mr. Brady, you call my husband and he'll show this gentleman to the guest room.
Well, see, I can do that. Guest room's right next to mine. Come on, Phil. I'll show you. Poor old Mrs. Ferguson, I'm afraid we run her half to death. Tell the truth, her husband is, well, he's a little slow, not much help.
If I wanted to watch television later on.
Well, now I'm sorry, Phil. There's not a set in the house. Now, there's one room on the right and two on the left. The guest room is the second on the left.
Miss Whittaker has some letters she wants to write. Would you go up and help her? I'm needed in the kitchen.
Say, that's good. Claire Whittaker needs a little excitement. I think you made an impression. Want me to show you the way?
Well, no, I know how to get there, thank you.
Well, Luke, what's new? The mayor's in your office. I see his car outside. Hello, Mayor.
Barney, where have you been?
Didn't the sergeant tell you? I was having dinner.
At a time like this, with a killer loose in town?
When I get hungry, Otis, I have to eat.
Don't you realize that your position in this town is only temporary until that council meeting tomorrow?
Sure.
And half of the members still feel you ought to promote one of the local officers to the job?
Good idea.
Barney, I went way out on a limb to bring you here. Way out on a limb. If you don't want the job, why did you come?
I do want the job.
You'd better start acting. Imagine what it'll do to my prestige here if you let me down.
Stop worrying.
Stop worrying. You get out there and find that killer Kimball, and then I'll stop worrying.
Otis, I'm not running a Wild West show. I'm running a police department. The machinery I've set in motion is far more effective than any one man. Do you understand that?
All right. I understand it. Barney, why aren't you out there? Dan Brady wouldn't have sat there. He couldn't have. Dan Brady would have been out there with his men.
I am not Dan Brady.
Therefore, I think it's better to face the fact that Dr. Jorgensen is a disappointing and obstinate old man. I ask you again, Ruth, to accept my fate as I have done. Your loving sister, Claire. That'll fix her.
That's, Claude Jorgensen. He's supposed to be one of the best.
Oh. Now, don't you start being full of hope and cheer, Phil. I like you just the way you are.
What else? What's the music?
Oh, the phonograph? I never used the silly thing.
Oh, no, if there's nothing wrong with your ears.
I can't read labels or find switches with my ears.
Well, then get someone to help you or find the system.
Why should I settle for that?
What do you mean, settle?
Bill, either you see or you don't. I don't, and I never will again. I have to be a burden in essential things. I've adjusted to that, but I've never asked anyone for anything I didn't need.
All right.
You're not going.
You don't need me.
Bill? Bill? Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Mrs. Ferguson, I'd like to see Dan Brady. Thank you.
Mayor, right in here.
Dan, I've got to talk to you. I don't suppose you know what's taking place in town. We've got no TV sets in here.
Remember a thing called radio? My transistor keeps me in touch.
Oh, well, then you do know. Dan, this town is in the grip of fear.
Oh, come on, Otis.
If this killer isn't caught...
I know.
If he's not apprehended... You can just imagine what that'll do to my reputation as mayor here.
Why come to me with it?
And you kept law and order here for over 30 years. Folks still talk of Chief Brady. Always will. They respect you. So do I. Now I need your advice. Maybe your influence. I thought maybe if you'd go on the TV and say a word or two about...
Don't be foolish. You got your chief of police, this Barney Vladeck. He's a college man.
He's only temporary, Chief, Dan.
Well, put him on the TV. Let him make an educated statement. All I've got is 38 years' experience. Experience doesn't count anymore.
And please, at a time like this, if this Kimball isn't caught before the council meeting tomorrow, I'm going to look like a doggone fool when I ask him to make Vladeck permanent chief of police. And suppose you just make a statement. That one of the reporters or one of the announcers could read, just to give the folks confidence.
Yeah. I'll make a statement. I lost my eyes performing my duty to this town. And you gave me a tin medal and put me out to pasture. And blind, Otis. Blind. I'm still a better man than you or your Barney Vladeck. Society up in Cleveland.
Oh, Mr. Meade, dinner's in 10 minutes. Will you tell the others?
Say, Phil. What's your secret, Phil?
What do you mean, my secret?
Well, you're the first person who got
Other work to do. I'd like to come back, of course.
Oh, sure, I know. But you are going to stay overnight, aren't you?
Well, no, I hadn't planned to, Mr. Brady.
Well, would it put you out a lot to stay? I'll tell you why. You got through to Claire Whitaker. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And we've got another resident here, a young school teacher. We should have a try at reaching him. He was blinded in a highway accident, driving a school bus. 2 youngsters were killed. The whole thing was investigated, and he was cleared, absolutely cleared. The only person alive who doesn't believe he's innocent. And he never comes out of his room.
Mr. Brady, I am not a psychiatrist.
Well, just talk to him. See how he feels. Go on. Knock on the door. Knock on it. Bob? Bob? This is Phil. Phil Meade from the Good Neighbor Society. Bob Stern, Phil. Mind if we come in?
Yes, I mind.
Mrs. Ferguson wanted me to tell you the dinner is ready.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you.
Oh, now, don't be rude, Bob. Phil's heard about you from some of the other good neighbors who've visited here, and, well, he's just interested in learning about your accident and seeing if he can help you.
He can't help. He can just get out of here.
We all know you were innocent. There's no reason on earth for you to keep on hiding in this room.
Mr. Brady, I think...
Well, there were 24 kids in that bus. He saved 22 of them. Went back into it 4 times while it was on fire. And in spite of that...
Mr. Brady, I think you better leave.
Well, okay, Phil. Try to talk some sense to him.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Can I, help you to dinner?
Dinner, sir. Dinner, everyone. Dinner, Mr. Meade. Dinner, Bob.
Who's that tray for?
Miss Whitaker always has her tray in her room.
I'll take it. Save you the trip.
Oh, thank you, Phil, but don't bother us. I'm coming down to dinner tonight.
By yourself?
Of course, by myself. Don't be silly.
One step at a time, Claire. Slow and easy. Come on, Claire. You can make it. I always knew you could.
Gosh.
Come on, Claire. You can make it.
I want to go back to my room.
I'll help her.
Mr. Meade? How is she?
She had most of the dinner. She's resting now.
Mr. Meade, I wonder if I could talk to you.
All right, well.
In my room.
Has come downstairs yet?
Yes, Mrs. Ferguson. He says Claire's fine now. Resting.
I hope the good neighbor sent him back. He's a good one.
Mr. Meade, you know I'm not blind, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, you're the only one who does know. I was afraid you'd tell Brady.
Why should I?
He told you about the accident.
What everybody tell me?
The accident was my fault.
He said it wasn't.
He doesn't know. It was after a football game. It was very cold. It was a very, very cold afternoon. And I had a couple of drinks. Whiskey. I had 2 drinks to warm myself up.
Were you in control of yourself?
I thought so. But I never drunk much in my life. I couldn't avoid the wreck.
Did it come out at the investigation?
No.
Well, Bob, if you think you're to blame, confess. Ease your conscience.
Well, I never tried to tell myself that. I ever tried. But
everyone thinks you're blind.
Yeah. After the accident, I was burned. Shocked, I guess. But later in the hospital, my sight started to come back. One thing I could always see. Those 2 kids trapped in the back of the bus. And I never wanted to see again. And I still don't. I just want to be left alone.
To suffer with your guilt? Bob, you've got to make up your mind. You want to be punished? Or do you want to be worshipped?
What do you mean?
Well, it's nice to be a hero. But you may have to give that up. Ease your conscience. You might have to give it up. Bill? Yes? He opened up to you, didn't he? Well, we talked, Mr. Brady. Say, if we could just keep you here a while, it'd do us all a lot of good, I know it. I thought I'd take a little walk. Oh, good, good. I'll go with you. I used to really enjoy an evening walk.
Who is it? Hello, Dan. Barney Valetti.
Well,
Well. Dan, I've got a problem. Get to it.
I'd like to take a look around this place.
Officially, yes. Get out of here.
If I could get permission, I won't need a warrant.
Permission not granted, you hear that? Look for what?
Oh, come on now, Dan. I know you got a radio there. You know who I'm looking for. He's got to hide where he can't be recognized. Everybody in town has seen his face on the TV screen. This house doesn't have a TV set, right?
You're insulting my intelligence with your questions, Sonny.
I'm not accusing anybody, Dan. He might be hiding on the grounds.
You're grasping at straws, Valetic. Why anyone would pick you to fill my shoes is more than I can figure.
I'm not trying to fill your shoes.
You're through, Sonny. I want you to know that. 38 years I've laid my life on the line for this town. No one has given more to these people.
Don't you think that everybody knows that, Dan?
Do they? Do they? Hoodlums, gangsters, delinquents run wild, but not in this town. Do the people really know why? Because I kept them out. Do they appreciate what I did for them? Look. That's the price for keeping this town safe. Acid in the face by a couple of hoodlums. But they're in jail. I wonder if anyone remembers who put them there.
I'm sorry. I've got a job to do. The same as you did once. Maybe not the same way, but... All right. If I need a warrant, I'll come back.
You do that. While you're searching this house, this council will be meeting. You do your job the best way you know how. And we'll let the council decide what kind of law enforcement they need in this town. Yours or mine.
I guess I should get downstairs.
You coming back?
Oh, sure.
May I say something?
Go ahead.
Last night when I fell down the stairs, I was humiliated, but I will try again.
Yes, but did you see Miss Whittaker? I called and called.
Well, she's up in her room resting. At least she was 10 minutes ago.
She's gone. She's never done this before.
She'll go just so far, and then she'll wait for help.
What's going on?
Oh, Miss Whittaker's missing, Mr. Brady, but we'll find her.
Oh, let me help.
No, you stay put, Mr. Brady. Mr. Meade and I can see.
And your husband, he can see.
He's off doing errands. I'll get Cook to help us. We'll find her.
She can't go very far alone.
She's in the room. Come on, you could go and help them look for her, couldn't you?
What you mean?
Are we alone?
I guess so.
You know so. You're not blind, Bob. I've tested you a dozen ways. Tried to bump into you. You always sidestepped. Your eyes were injured in the wreck, but your sight came back. Am I right?
Have you told anyone else?
Why should I spoil your fun? You condemned yourself, boy. If you didn't enjoy your punishment, you could put an end to it.
You don't want it to look.
All right.
You don't know what it's like.
All right. We'll argue about that later. You ever listen to your radio?
No.
Do you know about the manhunt? I'm going to tell you who they're looking for. Phil Meade is no more Phil Meade than I am. I called their Good Neighbor Society. They never heard of him. I say that he's Dr. Richard Kimball, fugitive and a murderer.
I don't believe that.
Our whole police force, Mr. Acting Chief Velatic, state county reinforcements combing the town, blocking the roads, costing the town a fortune, and they can't find him. I've got him. I've got him.
Well, it's true. I mean, why don't you stop pretending and call the real police?
Real police? We find somebody that measures up to me. Here, I am the real police. All I need to prove it is your eyes. Take this. Take it. You go to jail for helping a criminal to escape. Put it in your belt. Put it in. Out.
Whittaker, Claire, where are you?
Bill, help me!
Didn't you hear us calling?
I was lost. Yes, I could hear it. But I was lost. I was so alone.
Well, you're all right now. Come on. Come on, let go. Come on. You can make it.
Oh, no. Hold on to me.
You're either totally blind and helpless, or you're sliding down banisters and running through the garden.
I don't need your opinion, Mr. Meade, of anything I do.
You don't need me to hold on to.
No. Yes.
It's not that far, Claire.
So please.
Come on, Claire.
Mind your own business, Dan. Bill Meade is a pernicious man. He makes people do their best in spite of themselves.
Come here, mister. I want to shake your hand. Yes, sir. You've done wonders for Claire. And for Bob here, too. Even for me. You're no amateur, are you, Mr. Meade? No, sir. You're no amateur. You even had me fooled, Dr. Kimball. That's saying something. And I don't want to spoil what you did for Claire. What are you going to do? I'm going to leave you here, quietly, with Bob.
Hey, Bob.
You're one of them they're looking for, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Brady says you're a killer.
Well, there was a killing. I was convicted. I couldn't prove my innocence, and I still can't.
wagon down in the garage. He wants me to take you downtown with him.
Luke? It's Dan Brady. Has that council meeting started yet, next door?
Yeah, Chief, about 10 minutes ago.
Well, I want you to break it down, and I'll tell you how. Send in one of the boys to Mayor Penfield with a message.
All right, what is it?
Tell him Dan Brady has something to say about who's going to be the new chief of police. Tell him to bring Mr. Vladeck over there and meet me in the office. And tell him I'm bringing in a prisoner, Dr. Richard Kimball. Put a doctor in a doctor's shoes, and he's bound to sound and act and smell like a doctor. This Vladeck fella dropped the ball because computers don't have instinct. There isn't a man in this state with the instinct to do this job as well as I can do it. Today, even blind. You know what he's thinking about right now, son? Escape. The break he intends to try. Be careful.
Convicted. You're innocent. I wasn't even tried. And you know what? You're the lucky one.
Well, no matter what happens to anyone else, try to straighten out your life, huh? Get rid of some of that guilt.
That is right, Sheriff. We're calling off all roadblocks as of now. Yes. Yes, I have notified the state. Right, Sheriff. Thank you.
Well, that ends that expense.
I hope for your sakes Dan Brady is...
Dan Brady doesn't play games.
All right, Bob. I'll handcuff the prisoner to me.
Mr. Mayor, they're here.
Barney, I think you did your best. You know I was for you. Maybe you'd like to stay on as assistant or something while you learn the ways of this community. Well, this puts Dan Brady where he belongs, I guess. Right back in the driver's seat.
Gentlemen. Who's here? We're all here to... Gentlemen, I've been a fool.
No, Sheriff, he won't keep the car. He knows it's too hot. Yes, I have alerted the State Patrol. Yes, I know he could possibly be out of the city or the county or... Yes, Sheriff.
Yes, I know I did. I made a mistake. Thank you.
Well, boys, let's get back to the council chamber and make this appointment official. Congratulations, Chief. Dolly?
Vladik, I used to be good at giving orders, not so good at apologizing. I can also follow orders if you ever need my help.
Dan, let's talk.
Sergeant Higgins?
Sergeant, send some coffee in here. Book that young man on the charges of aiding and abetting a felon's escape.
Yes, sir.
Free once again, with the ruthless freedom of the hunted. Anonymous in a world in which he must dread the sound of his own name. Richard Kimball continues, running, searching, a fugitive.
Expect the unexpected. Weeknights at 11:30 when TV22 presents Tales of the Unexpected. Premiering September 15th on KTZZ TV22.